Hear the 13th mystery. Jesus said to his disciples, "Compare me to someone, and tell us whom I am like." Simon Peter said, "You are like a righteous angel." Matthew said, "You are like a wise philosopher." But Thomas said, "Master, my mouth is utterly unable to say whom you are like." And Jesus took him aside and spoke 3 secret words. When Thomas returned, his companions demanded, "What did he say to you?" Thomas answered, "If I tell you even one of the words, you would pick up stones and throw them at me, and a fire would come out of the stones and consume you." The crowd seeks labels, they seek comfortable, human definitions. But the truth of Christ cannot be measured by worldly philosophy or dogmatic theology. It is a dangerous, blazing fire of ultimate reality. If the uninitiated hear the true, non-dual nature of the divine, their rigid illusions will shatter and be entirely consumed. Hear the 14th mystery. If you fast, you will bring sin upon yourselves. If you pray, you will be condemned. And if you give alms, you will harm your spirits. When you enter any land, eat what they set before you, and heal the sick among them. For what goes into your mouth will not defile you, but what comes out of your mouth, that is what defiles you. Turn away from external, performative righteousness. Do not rely on empty rituals to save your soul. Your spiritual integrity is not defined by dietary checklists or public piety. True holiness is reflected in your output, your words, your actions, and your compassion. Guard your heart, for your external expressions reveal the spirit within. Hear the 15th mystery. When you see one who was not born of woman, prostrate yourselves on your faces and worship him. That one is your Father. Look past the transient, physical creation. The material world is locked in the cycle of birth and decay. But the true divine source was never born and can never die. When you recognize that uncreated, eternal consciousness, drop your ego, fall to the earth, and absolute awe. For you are standing in the presence of the ultimate reality. Hear the 16th mystery. People think I have come to bring peace upon the world. They do not know that I have come to bring divisions, fire, sword, and war. For there will be 5 in a house. 3 will be against 2, and 2 against 3. The father against the son, and the son against the father. And they will stand as solitary ones. The truth is a sword. It cleaves through the comfort of worldly structures. When you awaken to Gnosis, it will sever you from traditional expectations, corrupt social orders, and even the closest family ties. The path to enlightenment is radical, and it demands isolation from the sleepwalking crowd. Do not fear the division. You must learn to stand entirely alone as a unified, solitary soul.
Hear the 17th mystery. I will give you what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, what no hand has touched, and what has never arisen in the human heart. The ultimate reality cannot be grasped by your physical senses. It cannot be measured by human intellect or captured by worldly imagination. Do not look for the divine in the material world. It is a profound, uncreated dimension of absolute truth. When you drop your attachments to the physical senses, the unutterable mysteries of existence will dawn within your soul. Hear the 18th mystery. The followers said to Jesus, "Tell us how our end will be." But the living Jesus answered them, "Have you already discovered the beginning, that you now look for the end? For where the beginning is, there the end will be. Blessed is he who takes his place in the beginning, for he will know the end, and he will not taste death." You are obsessed with linear time, with apocalyptic futures, and the fear of your own demise. But linear time is an illusion. To conquer death, you must journey backward, past your birth, past your conditioning, back to the primordial source from which your spirit emerged. Find the uncreated spark within you. Take your place in the beginning, and the illusion of the end will completely vanish. Hear the 19th mystery. Blessed is he who came into being before he came into being. If you become my disciples and listen to my words, these stones will minister to you. For you have 5 trees in paradise which do not change summer or winter, and their leaves do not fall. Whoever knows them will not taste death. Your true divine identity existed long before your physical body was formed in the womb. When you awaken to this eternal presence, the material world aligns with you. Even the cold, inanimate stones will serve your journey. Anchor your mind in the changeless, eternal truths of paradise. Do not sway with the shifting seasons of earthly life, and your spirit will remain immortal, and the gates of the kingdom will lay open before you. Hear the 20th mystery. The followers said to Jesus, "Tell us what the kingdom of heaven is like." And he answered them, "It is like a mustard seed. It is the smallest of all seeds. But when it falls on tilled soil, it produces a great plant and becomes a shelter for the birds of the sky." Look at the infinite power hidden within the microscopic. The kingdom of heaven does not begin with an explosive cosmic event. It begins as an almost imperceptible spark of insight, a tiny shift in your awareness. But do not underestimate the small beginning. If you plant that tiny realization in a disciplined, well-prepared mind, in tilled soil, it will grow exponentially. Feed that little spark every single day. Watch as it transforms your consciousness into a vast wisdom and unconditional love. What began as the smallest seed will become a massive, unshakable force. A living haven that protects, comforts, and shelters everyone around you.
Hear the 21st mystery. Mary asked him, "Whom are your disciples like?" And he answered, "They are like children who have settled in a field which is not theirs." When the owners of the field return to claim it, the children strip off their clothes, surrendering the field without anguish. Therefore I say, if a homeowner knows a thief is coming, he stays awake. He guards his house, refusing to let the robber dig through his walls. You, then, must be fiercely on your guard against the world. Arm yourselves with great strength, lest the robbers find a way to strip away your inner peace. And when the grain ripens, come quickly with your sickle. Whoever has ears to hear, let him hear. Understand the deeper truth. This material world is a temporary field. Your social masks, your worldly titles, and even your physical forms are borrowed clothes. When life demands it, let them go without a tantrum. But your mind is a sacred house. Guard it fiercely. Do not allow worldly anxiety, stressful distractions, or superficial pressures to break in and steal your divine spark. Hear the 22nd mystery. Jesus saw infants being suckled, and he said, "These infants are like those who enter the kingdom." The followers asked, "Shall we then, as children, enter the kingdom?" And Jesus answered them, "When you make the two into one,
when you make the inside like the outside, and the outside like the inside, and the above like the below. And when you make the male and the female one and the same, so that the male will not be male, nor the female female, then shall you enter the kingdom. To enter the kingdom, you must shatter the fractured illusion of duality. Stop being a hypocrite. Align your inner thoughts with your external actions. Heal the arguments in your own mind. Reconcile spiritual ideals with physical realities. And look at the world with perfect balance, moving past rigid labels into a state of wholeness. Replace your physical eyes and hands with a brand new system of spiritual perception. Become whole, and the gates will open. Hear the 23rd mystery. I shall choose you, 1 out of 1,000, and 2 out of 10,000, and they shall stand as a single one. Walking a deeply spiritual path is not a mass market behavior. The vast majority of humanity prefers the comfort of group thinking, blindly following the crowd into social conformity. True self-reflection is a rare and lonely road. But do not fear the isolation. Those independent minds who break free across history form an unbreakable, unified brotherhood, a tight-knit community bound by shared clarity. Hear the 24th mystery. The followers pleaded, "Show us the place where you are, for we must seek it." But the living Jesus corrected them, saying, "Whoever has ears, let him hear. There is light within a man of light, and he lights up the whole world. If he does not shine, he is darkness." Do not look for holy ground across the earth. The kingdom is not a physical destination. It is an internal state of illumination. You hold a choice in how you live your life. Activate your inner spark with love, truth, and wisdom, and you will naturally bring joy, hope, and insight to everyone around you. But if you choose to remain bitter, selfish, and asleep, you bottle up that light, leaving yourself and the world entirely in the dark. Let him hear.